The room was loud, full of voices and heat. Lights flickered above old machines and crates. People from many planets were shouting, arguing, and laughing. It wasn't a normal place. This was a black market auction in the deep part of the galaxy where strange things were sold and no one asked questions. Jace stood quietly in the corner. He wasn't rich. He wasn't powerful. He was just a human scavenger who lived job to job, always looking for something valuable to fix or sell. But today he had a feeling. Something was calling to him. An old alien with 6 eyes stepped onto the stage. He wore a dusty robe and had a sharp voice. He pointed behind him. Next item, lot 112, ancient spaceship. Found abandoned near the dead zone. Fully sealed. No power readings. Unknown origin. Starting bid, 500 credits. A few people laughed. That junk? It looks cursed. Probably full of ghosts. Who wants an old broken ship? But Jace's eyes narrowed. The ship behind the auctioneer was half covered in a tarp. Its surface was dark silver, smooth, no rust or damage. Unlike anything he had seen. And the symbol on its side, some kind of royal seal, or maybe a family crest. He couldn't tell. Auctioneer raised an eyebrow. No one? Very well, going once. Jace raised his hand. 500. Heads turned. A few aliens whispered to each other. Human wants it? He's mad. The auctioneer smiled strangely. Ah, we have a brave one. Going twice, sold to the human. The gavel dropped with a loud bang. Jace walked to the dock later that night. The auction crew had dropped the ship there like trash. No guards, no instructions. Just silence. He touched the cold surface of the hull. It felt warm underneath. Alive? That didn't make sense. He found a small control panel near the side. Most of the buttons were strange symbols, but when he touched it, the panel lit up. Then, with a hiss, a door opened. Inside was dark. Very dark. He stepped in slowly, holding a small flashlight. The air smelled clean, not dusty or old. He expected spiderwebs, decay, or rats, but everything looked fresh. The hallway lights flickered on as he walked. Smooth walls, no wires, no pipes. The ship felt advanced for anything sold at that auction. He passed a kitchen area. The lights turned on as he entered. Food was set on the counter. Fresh fruit, warm bread. Nothing rotten. That's not possible, he whispered. The ship should be dead. No power. No systems. But it was awake now. As he moved deeper, he found sleeping quarters. The beds were made, clothes folded. A soft humming sound began in the background like the ship was breathing. Then he heard it. A breath. Not his own. Jace froze. Hello? He called out, his voice shaking. No answer. He turned around slowly, shining the flashlight toward the noise. Nothing. He backed away and the hallway behind him lit up one by one, like something was guiding him or watching him. Okay. Maybe. This was a bad idea, he muttered. He reached the control room. The screens were off, but when he stepped forward, they turned on by themselves. Symbols danced across the monitors. Then a voice spoke from the ship itself. New presence detected. Male human. Scanning. Compatible. Welcome, new bond candidate. Jace's heart skipped. Bond candidate? What are you talking about? The voice didn't answer. Suddenly, a new screen appeared, showing a strange map of the ship. A red blinking light appeared deep inside, marked, Life form detected. Jace stared at it. What the hell? I'm not alone? He ran back into the hallway, following the blinking red signal. He passed locked doors. Some opened when he got close, others stayed shut. The ship was choosing where he could go. Finally, he reached a large sealed door. It was covered in vines, real ones, growing inside metal. A blue light scanned his face. Access granted. Mate protocol initializing. The door hissed open. Fog spilled out from the room. The air was warm, sweet, and strange. Inside, he saw a large glass pod glowing faintly. He stepped closer and froze. Inside, the pod was a woman, an alien woman. She had silver skin with soft glowing lines across her arms and face. Long dark blue hair floated inside the liquid. She wore armor-like clothing that looked ceremonial, royal. Her eyes were closed. She looked peaceful, alive. A small screen beside the pod read, "Stasis in progress. Vital signs normal. Release. Available." Then, the voice returned. "Do you wish to awaken the bride?" Jace took a step back. Bride? His heart pounded. This wasn't just a ship. He didn't just buy some junk. He had walked into something far bigger than he imagined. Asterisk. The ship was silent. But Jace wasn't. He paced in front of the glass pod, running his fingers through his messy hair. "Bride? What kind of joke is this?" he said, his voice echoing in the warm fog. The alien woman floated inside, still and peaceful like a strange dream caught in time. He didn't touch the pod. Not yet, but the word bride kept flashing on the small screen beside it. Then, the lights dimmed suddenly. From behind him, the walls whispered, yes, whispered, not mechanical noises. Real whispering voices. He turned fast. Nothing there. But then, something new happened. The pod gave a soft hum, and the glass began to crack. Open from inside. Not broken, but unlocking. A rush of glowing mist spilled out, and then she opened her eyes. 2 glowing violet eyes, sharp as blades, locked on him. She didn't speak at first. She just breathed in deeply, like someone taking their first breath. After drowning. Then, she spoke. "You are not like the others." Jace stepped back. "What others?" She looked around, confused, her voice soft but deep. "How long have I been asleep?" "I don't know," Jace replied carefully. "I found this ship at an auction. You were inside it. They said it was abandoned." The woman stared at him. "Auction? You own the vessel now?" He hesitated. "I guess so. I placed the winning bid." Her body slowly floated forward as the cryopod opened completely. She stepped out barefoot, her strange armor glittering in the faint blue lights. She was taller than Jace, elegant, but fierce. She walked toward him, slow but steady. Then she said something that made Jace's heart skip. "Then you are my bondmate." Jace blinked. "You're what?" "The ship chose you. You answered its call. It opened for you." She tilted her head. "You awakened me." "Listen," Jace said quickly. "I didn't mean to awake anyone. I just thought. I was buying a junk ship. I'm not here to bond with anyone." But the woman wasn't angry. She looked calm, almost sad. "My name is Thalira. I am the last of my kind. This ship was my prison and my safe place. It searched for centuries to find someone compatible. Compatible with what?" She touched her chest softly. "With me." Suddenly, the ship's walls began to glow faintly. Symbols lit up alien. Markings Jace couldn't read. And then the ship's voice returned. "DNA lock complete. Emotional match, 61%. Physical match, 89%. Psychological bond, 72%. Final bond status, accepted." Jace's jaw dropped. Wait, you're telling me this ship is matchmaking us?" Thalira nodded once. "It is how my people used to choose mates, a living ship. It chooses who can touch me, who can wake me, who can share life." Jace backed up slowly. "Lady, I didn't come here to get married. I came to find scrap, not a space bride." For the first time she smiled. It was small, tired. "Then you are honest. That is good. The last man who tried to wake me only wanted power. The ship burned him." Jace swallowed hard. "Burned?" She nodded. "The ship protects its chosen." They sat in silence for a moment. The lights dimmed again, as if the ship was listening closely. Then Thalira's voice softened. "You can leave. If you wish. The bond can be rejected. But I will return to sleep. I will wait another 1,000 years. Or rot alone. Jace looked at her. Something in her tone hit him in the chest. She wasn't a monster. She wasn't a trap. She was just lonely, and maybe he was too. I don't know what this all means, he said, rubbing the back of his neck, but I guess I can stick around a bit longer. Just to understand. Thalira bowed her head. That is all I ask. Just then, the ship's control panel lit up again. A red warning flashed. Incoming signal detected. Unknown vessel approaching. Status hostile? Thalira's eyes narrowed. They found me already. Jay stood up. Who? She looked at him with fire in her glowing eyes. The ones who want me dead. The stars outside were still, but inside the ship, everything had changed. Jay stood at the window, watching a dark shape appear in the distance. It moved slowly, without lights, silent. Watching them, he had only been on the ship for a day. And now someone or something was already coming for them. Behind him, Thalira moved like a shadow. Calm, alert, ready. She touched the wall, and the ship responded to her fingers like a living creature. Symbols appeared. A screen lit up. A warning flashed in bright red. Unknown ship approaching. Shields offline. Weapons locked. Manual control needed. Thalira didn't blink. They are scanning us, looking for signs of life. If they confirm I'm awake, they will fire. Why? Jace asked. Who are they? She turned to him, her face serious. They call themselves the Black Helix, hunters of my kind. They want to erase my bloodline. I'm the last. Jace felt cold. And they'll kill anyone who helps you? She nodded. Yes, including you. Silence. Then she added softly, you don't have to stay, Jace. The ship can escape without you. One small pod, enough to send you back to safety. Jace stared at her. He didn't know her well. He didn't understand her world, her past, or her people. But one thing was clear: she was alone, hunted, and still willing to protect him. He shook his head. I'm not leaving. She looked surprised. I don't know why this ship chose me, he continued. But maybe it chose right. Let's fight them together. Thalira blinked slowly, then smiled. For the first time, her smile was real. Ship's lights changed. Soft blue turned to deep red. The control room shimmered, revealing a hidden section beneath the floor. A glowing seat rose from the center, a pilot throne made of metal and light. Thalira looked at Jace. You must sit. The ship listens to you now. Only a bonded one can awaken its full power. Wait me, Jace pointed to himself. I've never flown anything bigger than a space bike. She placed her hand on his shoulder. Don't fly, feel, let the ship guide you. Jace took a deep breath and sat down. As soon as he did, the seat came to life. Lines of blue light ran along his arms and back. His heart raced. Suddenly, he could feel the ship breathing, its engines humming, its wings flexing. He could feel every part of it like it was part of him. A soft voice spoke in his ear. Welcome, Captain. Outside, the enemy ship locked on. It fired. Twin plasma bolts screamed toward them. Inside, Jace didn't move. He didn't need to. The ship did it for him. It rolled, twisted, dove. The shots missed by inches. Thalira stood beside him, guiding the weapon systems with glowing hands. She moved like a dancer, deadly and beautiful. Return fire, she said. Jace thought about firing, and the ship did it. A glowing beam burst from their front cannon, slicing across the enemy hull. Sparks exploded in the distance. They're trying to board, Thalira shouted. Panels opened on the ceiling. Long metal tentacles reached out, ready for close combat. Jace stood quickly. They want to take you alive, right? Yes. Then I'm not letting them get that chance. In the hallway, the first boarder broke through the outer hull. He was tall, armored in black metal, with red glowing eyes. He raised his weapon. Before he could fire, Thalira slammed into him from above, spinning, kicking, slashing with a blade. Made from ship metal. The hunter screamed and fell. More followed. Jace grabbed a plasma staff from the wall. He had no training, but the ship guided his hands. Together, they fought side by side, alien bride and human stranger. 1. Then 2. Then 5 enemies fell. The last one tried to run. Jace threw the staff and the ship's wall shifted, grabbing the enemy like a hand. Silence returned. Later in the quiet, Jace sat on the edge of the control chair. Thalira stood in front of him, her armor cracked, a scratch on her cheek. "Why didn't you run?" she asked. Jace shrugged. "Because you didn't." She stared at him for a long time. Then she said something unexpected. "The ship has accepted you, but now, so have I." Jace blinked. "Wait, does that mean?" Before he could finish, the ship interrupted. Final bond sealed. Mate status confirmed. Room access expanded. DNA permissions updated. Doors throughout the ship unlocked. Lights glowed like stars. Thalira took his hand gently. "From now on, you are not just the pilot, you are part of me. And this ship is part of us." Jace dreamed he was falling. But the ship caught him. He didn't hit the floor. Instead, soft metal arms wrapped around him, holding him like a child. He opened his eyes. He wasn't in the control room anymore. He was in a strange chamber glowing with soft golden light. The walls were round and smooth, like inside a living creature. The floor pulsed under his feet, warm and slow, like a heartbeat. Thalira stood across from him, dressed in clean robes instead of armor. Her silver skin shimmered in the soft light. She looked calm, but her eyes were serious. "Where are we?" Jace asked. Thalira answered softly. "We are inside the heart of the ship. No one has seen this place, not even me." "The ship brought me here?" She nodded. "Only those fully bonded may enter. You are no longer a visitor, Jace. You are part of this vessel." He looked around. The room felt strange but peaceful, like it was waiting. Then, from above, a new voice spoke. "Not robotic. Not digital. It sounded alive. And female, Jace Thalira, you are now one with me." Jace took a step back. "Who's talking?" Thalira didn't look surprised. "The ship." "Wait, the ship has a voice now?" "Yes, her true voice." The golden light around them flickered and images appeared in the air, moving pictures. Memories. Jace saw flashes of alien cities, beautiful towers reaching the skies. He saw royal weddings, ships flying in formation, and Thalira smiling beside a tall man in gold armor. "Who was that?" Jace asked. Thalira's voice cracked. "My first mate. He was killed by the same people who hunted us today." The light shifted again. Now Jace saw fire, war, screams. Thalira's people were being hunted, one by one. The last memory showed. Thalira stepping into the cryopod, placing her hand on the ship, and whispering, "Find me a protector. One with a kind heart and a strong soul. Let me sleep until he comes." The images vanished. Silence. Jace looked at her. "You made a wish," she nodded. And the ship answered. They stepped out of the heart chamber, and the ship's halls felt different now, alive, breathing, aware. Doors opened before them without a sound. The walls glowed with soft colors that followed their steps. Jace noticed something strange now. Rooms he hadn't seen before. "What's that?" he asked, pointing to a long corridor filled with round glass rooms. Thalira hesitated. "That is the nursery wing." "A nursery?" She looked away. "My ship was once a royal seed ship. A place where chosen mates lived and raised the next generation. Only those truly bonded could begin the next step." Jace turned red. "Oh." But before he could speak again, an alarm rang through the hallway. Ping, ping, ping. The ship's voice echoed. "Incoming message." Encryption broken, playing. A new voice played over the speakers. Cold, cruel. We know she's awake. We tracked the activation. There's no place to run. Return the female, or we destroy you both. Jace's fists clenched. Same people? Thalira nodded. The Black Helix never gives up. They won't stop until I'm gone forever. But this time, Jace didn't feel afraid. He felt angry. I've seen what they did to your people, he said. And I won't let them do it again. Back in the control room, Jace sat in the pilot throne. The ship lit up around him, stronger than before. Panels glowed with new power. Systems opened that hadn't worked before. He turned to Thalira. They think we're weak. Let's show them we're not. She gave a slow nod. Then prepare. Because they're coming fast. Jace placed his hands on the controls. The ship whispered back. Shield systems online. Weapon pods unlocked. Cloaking ready. Shall we defend, Captain? Jace smiled. Let's give them a surprise. Far away, a fleet of dark ships approached through space. Inside one of them, a Black Helix commander stared at his screen. They're powering up, he growled. Prepare to strike. But just as they aimed their cannons, something strange happened. The alien ship, the one they thought was ancient and broken, vanished. Cloaked. Gone from radar. Where did they go? The commander shouted. And in that silence, the human voice of Jace echoed through their speakers. She's not yours to hunt anymore. Jace had to die to understand how to save her, or at least, that's what it felt like. His body lay still, locked deep inside the bride ship's frozen core. But his mind, his soul, was floating somewhere between the ship's memory and Thalira's. Fading light. Everything around him was white, empty, but warm. Thalira stood before him, glowing faintly like a star that was about to go dark. You're not really here, Jace whispered. She nodded softly. Neither are you. He looked down. No wounds, no weapons. Just his own thoughts. His heart beat faster. They're breaking the ship, Thalira said. I can feel it. They're inside the deepest systems now. Trying to erase me from the core. Jace clenched his fists. I won't let them. You may not have a choice. She replied. You were not trained for this. This ship, my people, our bond. It's too much for one human. Jace stepped forward. Then train me, now. Outside the dream space, the real world was on fire. The masked commander moved through the ship's heart, stabbing control panels, forcing open the memory walls, destroying what made the ship alive. The vines that once protected the hallways had turned gray. The lights dimmed. The ship's voice was silent. Most thought it was dead, but not all of it. Deep in the neural drive, one spark remained. And that spark was Jace. Inside the glowing dream space, Thalira placed her hands on his chest. I will give you my knowledge. She said, everything, but it will hurt. And if you fail, your mind may not survive. Jace looked into her glowing violet eyes. Give it to me. Her fingers pressed against his skin. And suddenly, everything came at once. 1,000 years of memories, battles, royal codes, names of planets, feelings of love, of betrayal, of war, the history of the bride ships, the truth about her bloodline, and, most important, the secret command that could lock down the ship forever. His body shook. His eyes turned white. Then he collapsed. On the outside, his real body gasped. His eyes opened, and this time, they were glowing blue, the color of the bride ship. Stood. The metal around him moved as he moved. The walls pulsed with life. The ship's voice returned, but it was different now, merged with his own. Captain confirmed. Full neural sync. Active, all systems. Online. The hunters turned toward him in shock. Too late. Jace raised one hand, and the ship came alive. Spikes burst from the floor, wrapping around the intruders. Electric pulses shot through the ceiling, disabling weapons. Thalira's Body, once unconscious, rose with the help of vines that carried her gently toward him. Her eyes opened. "You did it," she whispered. Jace caught her in his arms. "No, we did," the masked commander screamed. "He's not one of us, he's just a human." Jace stepped forward, every inch of the ship responding to his thoughts. "Yeah," he said, "a human who chose to protect her when no one else would." The commander raised his blaster, but before he could fire, a beam of blue energy shot straight from the ship's core, tearing through the air and disintegrating him on the spot. Silence. Then. Light. The ship began to heal. Walls sealed. Colors returned. The hum of life echoed through the halls. Jace helped Talira stand on her feet. She looked around amazed. "You didn't just rescue me," she said. "You became my equal." He chuckled. "So, do I get a crown or something?" She smiled, placing her forehead gently against his. "No, but you get me." They sat together in the heart chamber, watching the stars return through the wide glass window. The ship floated peacefully, now free, alive and whole again. Talira leaned against him, her voice soft. "I was meant to be a bride of power, a symbol, a legacy." He looked down at her, brushing a lock of her silver hair aside. "And now?" She looked up with a warm, tired smile. "Now, I am simply yours." Jace had to die to understand how to save her. Or at least, that's what it felt like. His body lay still, locked deep inside the bride ship's frozen core. But his mind, his soul, was floating somewhere between the ships. Memory and Thalira's fading light. Everything around him was white, empty, but warm. Thalira stood before him, glowing faintly like a star that was about to go dark. "You're not really here," Jace whispered. She nodded softly. "Neither are you." He looked down. No wounds, no weapons. Just his own thoughts. His heart beat faster. "They're breaking the ship," Thalira said. "I can feel it. They're inside the deepest systems now. Trying to erase me from the core." Jace clenched his fists. "I won't let them." "You may not have a choice," she replied. "You were not trained for this. This ship, my people, our bond. It's too much for one human." Jace stepped forward. "Then train me, now." Outside the dream space, the real world was on fire. The masked commander moved through the ship's heart, stabbing control panels, forcing open the memory walls, destroying what made the ship alive. The vines that once protected the hallways had turned gray. The lights dimmed. The ship's voice was silent. Most thought it was dead, but not all of it. Deep in the neural drive, one spark remained. And that spark was Jace. Inside the glowing dream space, Thalira placed her hands on his chest. "I will give you my knowledge," she said. "Everything, but it will hurt. And if you fail, your mind may not survive." Jace looked into her glowing violet eyes. "Give it to me." Her fingers pressed against his skin. And suddenly, everything came at once. 1,000 years of memories, battles, royal codes, names of planets, feelings of love, of betrayal, of war, the history of the bride ships, the truth about her bloodline, and, most important, the secret command that could lock down the ship forever. His body shook. His eyes turned white. Then he collapsed. On the outside, his real body gasped. His eyes opened, and this time, they were glowing blue, the color of the bride ship. Stood. The metal around him moved as he moved. The walls pulsed with life. The ship's voice returned, but it was different now, merged with his own. "Captain confirmed. Full neural sync. Active, all systems. Online." The hunters turned toward him in shock. Too late. Jace raised one hand, and the ship came alive. Spikes burst from the floor, wrapping around the intruders. Electric pulses shot through the ceiling, disabling weapons. Thalira's body, once unconscious, rose with the help of vines that carried her gently toward him. Her eyes opened. "You did it," she whispered. Jace caught her in his arms. No, we did, the masked commander screamed. He's not one of us, he's just a human. Jace stepped forward, every inch of the ship responding to his thoughts. Yeah, he said, a human who chose to protect her when no one else would. The commander raised his blaster, but before he could fire, a beam of blue energy shot straight from the ship's core, tearing through the air and disintegrating him on the spot. Silence. Then. Light. The ship began to heal. Walls sealed. Colors returned. The hum of life echoed through the halls. Jace helped Thalira stand on her feet. She looked around amazed. You didn't just rescue me, she said. You became my equal. He chuckled. So, do I get a crown or something? She smiled, placing her forehead gently against his. No, but you get me. They sat together in the heart chamber, watching the stars return through the wide glass window. The ship floated peacefully, now free, alive and whole again. Thalira leaned against him, her voice soft. I was meant to be a bride of power, a symbol, a legacy. He looked down at her, brushing a lock of her silver hair aside. And now? She looked up with a warm, tired smile. Now, I am simply yours. Some love stories begin with roses. Theirs began with wreckage and war, and a bid for a forgotten ship. Now that same ship drifted quietly across the stars, free from hunters, free from chains. Inside, Jace stood at the front window of the command room, watching a sea of galaxies swirl beyond the glass. But he wasn't smiling, he was thinking. He had survived death, battle, and memories not his own. The ship now answered to him. It moved when he willed it. It breathed with his heartbeat. But the question remained, what was he now? A pilot? A protector? A husband? He didn't know. Thalira stepped in behind him, barefoot, dressed in soft silver robes instead of armor. Her violet eyes shimmered with peace, but her voice held a quiet seriousness. You're wondering if it's real, she said gently. Jace looked at her. You were born for this ship. It was made for your blood, your people, your kind. I'm just human. You're not just anything, she replied. You were chosen, not by royalty, not by war, but by something purer. The ship didn't need power, it needed heart. She walked closer, placing a hand on his chest, and you gave it. They moved together through the ship, which now felt less like a machine and more like a home. Rooms opened to them with warmth. Lights changed color based on mood. Vines bloomed with glowing petals in places that once held nothing but weapons. A hallway near the old engine room had turned into a garden grown by the ship. Without command, flowers, water, even soft alien music played from the walls. Thalira said quietly, the ship responds to your emotions now. It's learning what peace feels like. They walked through the garden. Past the old battle scars, past the stasis pod where she had once slept for centuries. Jace paused. You waited all that time, just hoping someone would open the door. Thalira nodded. I hoped someone good would open it. She turned toward him. And now that you have, I no longer wish to sleep. Later they sat together in the heart of the ship, no longer in armor, no longer in fear, just them. Jace ran a hand through his hair and gave a nervous smile. So, what now? I'm guessing we don't exactly land this thing on Earth then. File a marriage license. Thalira laughed softly, her head resting on his shoulder. In my culture, bonding through the ship is the ceremony. You already wear the crown, even if it's invisible. Jace looked down at his hand. The skin where he had touched the ship's core still shimmered faintly. Does that mean I'm royalty now? She grinned. No, it means you're mine. Suddenly the ship's voice returned, calm, warm, and no longer machine-like. Captain, bride, a message signal is arriving. Not hostile. Jace raised an eyebrow. Not hostile? That's new. Thalira sat up straighter. Put it through. A soft blue hologram appeared. It was a peaceful alien elder one, with kind eyes and old symbols on his robe. Thalira of the Lost Line. The elder said, "We believed you were gone, but your ship sent out a final beacon. We've come to ask, are you ready to return?" She was silent. Then she looked at Jace. "I could go home," she whispered, "but it wouldn't be home without you." He took her hand. "Where you go, I go." And so the ship changed course, not just across space, but toward something new, toward a future, not just for Thalira and Jace, but for the idea that maybe, just maybe, kindness could still rule over bloodlines and battles. The bride ship was no longer a tool for breeding or war. It was now something else. A ship of hope. As they passed through the starfields, the ship recorded its final log. He did not come to conquer. He did not come to claim. He came because he cared. And because of that, the last bride of a dying empire finally found her peace.